Hi, my name's Andrew Creighton. I'm a physiatrist at Hospital for Special Surgery, and I specialize in seeing spine and sports medicine related musculoskeletal issues. I have a special interest in taking care of all athletes, particularly the golf athlete.
Hi, my name's Osmak, and I'm an exercise physiologist here at HSS. And I'm going to be going over some exercises that are going to keep you nice and fit for the golf season, and more particularly, exercises that are going to help protect your lumbar spine from injury. And if we can move a little bit better rotationally from our thoracic spine and our hips, we can help offload our lumbar spine.
So there are different structures in the spine that we think about that can get injured in the golfer. On the front part of the spine, structures that can get injured are the vertebrae, and then the discs that are intermixed between those vertebrae. And then on the back part of the spine, there are a number of structures that can get injured. Oftentimes the bone, either the pars bone or the pedicle bone on the back side of the spine, can get overloaded and even fracture. And that's something that oftentimes can result in the golfer missing a fair bit of time. So certainly an injury that we want to be aware of. Once the athlete is done growing and the bone sort of further solidifies, we start seeing pain emanating from the facet joints. And that's the joint in the back of the spine. Like any joint in the body, it can become sprained, it can become overloaded, and with time, in different wear and tear and micro trauma, can develop arthritis. And like with any joint in the body that becomes arthritic, it can become inflamed, it can become overloaded, and it can hurt. So the most common story that you hear in the golfer that injures their back is the story of overuse. And in the professional golfer, oftentimes it's an issue of just the sheer volume of overuse with an asymmetrical movement pattern that oftentimes does not have much variability. With the amateur golfer, it's again a story of overuse, but oftentimes it's overuse with suboptimal mechanics.
Okay, so for the first exercise, I want us to just take a look at how well we can move our lumbar spine in space. So I'm gonna go sideways so you can see my spine. You're gonna get into a nice golf athletic posture, and I just wanna see how well you can tuck your tail under and arch. So this is just a little anterior and posterior pelvic tilt, but it's gonna create flexion and extension out of the spine. The next thing I want you to do is you're gonna lie down on your back, and if it was difficult to tuck your pelvis under or create that more rounded position at the lumbar spine, using the ground in a hook-lying position at your knees, you can create space between your lower back and the ground, and then try to push your lower back into the ground. And you can use the proprioception of where your lower back is in reference to the floor as a cue to create some spine mobility. The next strengthening exercise surrounding the spine, and more particularly the thoracic spine, is going to be a modified side plank. So our knees can stay on the ground. We're gonna lift our hips up nice and high and engage our obliques and engage our core, and more particularly engaging the shoulder as well. So we're gonna get a lot of stabilization out of the shoulder and all the muscles that stabilize our scapula. Opposite arm's gonna be in the air. And then from here, we're gonna reach under our body. We're gonna get into some flexion and rotation, and then restore back up to the top. Again, you're gonna flex down and under, and then peel back up to the top. The entire time, you wanna try to keep your hips high as you reach under, and don't let them sag, and then peel back to the top. This is gonna really allow for our swing to be a little freer and allow for a little bit more motion in our swing, which will help prevent some of the motion from the lumbar spine so that we can really prevent injury at the lumbar spine to really keep our golfers on the course throughout the entire season this year.